Good morning, class 3. So today we're going to start with a new chapter named Living and Non-Living Things. So in this chapter we're going to learn about living and non-living things, difference between living and non-living things. We can also able to differentiate whether it is living or non-living thing. So let's begin. We see the wide variety of things around us. Some are living whereas other are non-living things. Circle any 5 things you can see in the pictures below. Sort them as living thing or non-living things. You have to, as you can see in your textbook, you have to circle that uh, circle according to the whether it is living or non-living things. So the picture states that a girl is sitting on a garden, okay, watching an insect with a magnifying glass, okay, and besides her there is a mango tree, and above her there is a sun. So this picture from this picture we have to find out how many there are living thing and how many them are non-living things. So in this picture we have living things like ant, the insect, okay, then tree, a girl, and small plants. So apart from these, rest of them are non-living things. So sun is also a non-living thing. The magnifying glass which she is holding is also a non-living thing. The clothes she is wearing, the shoes she is wearing is also a non-living thing. Moving on. So the next we have here is living things can grow. So they can grow. So plants and animal grow with time, as we all know. So plant need water, air, warmth and all to grow. But we humans need food, water, air and clothes, shelter. Some of these are sorry, not clothes, shelter, but food, water, air, and some of these things that we need to grow. Okay. Then we have living things breathe. Okay. All living things need air to breathe. We breathe air. We breathe through our nose. Several other animals breathe through their nose too. Cockroaches, butterfly, mosquito breathe through their holes in the body. Plants breathe through tiny holes called stomata present in their leaves. So there are different types of different ways of breathing. Okay, so we human being usually use our nose and mouth to breathe, and there are some other animals who can also breathe air through nose, but there are some animals, or we can call it insects, which have unlike human, they have holes in their body, okay, through which they breathe. If you look closely, you can find the holes in their body. So the picture says in your textbook there is a picture of a cockroach. Okay, when you remove those not remove but when you look closely to their body, you can find there are some holes which they use to breathe. Okay, then we have plants. Okay, even plants we cannot see them breathing. Okay, but if we use some microscope, okay, then we can find out their small holes called stomata, which is used by them to breathe. Next we have, so the next topic we have is living things can move. Living things can move their own. Animals move from one place to another in search of food and shelter. So first one we have is animals. Okay, how animals move. So dog, cat, human beings walk with the help of their legs. Okay, birds and bees also fly with the help of wings. Fish move with the help of fins. So there is different ways of moving from one place to another in search of food or some other things or shelter. Okay, so we use legs, as we all know. We human use legs to walk. Okay, likewise animals also use their legs to walk, but for birds they move from one place to another with the help of their wings. They fly upon. Then under in underwater, the fish uses their fins. Okay, fins to move from one place to another. So basically all living things can move. And then we have plant which is also a living thing. Plants do not move from one place to another because they do not have to they do not have to look for food. Green plants make their own food. Some plants show movement in special ways. For example, the leaves of mimosa, touch me not, plant can when touched, thus plants shows movement. So now how the plant moves. So plant usually moves if you look closely. Okay, if you look closely and uh, if you see, the plants usually move. If you have a rose or some kind of flower planted in your house, okay, in a flower pot, you can see if there is some uh, sunrise coming up, and the rays is the sun rays is not reflected to that plant, then the flower move to that direction in order to have that sunlight. This has been already been uh, this has been already been experimented in the various science lab. Okay, so you can also try that thing. Then we have non-living things such as books, toys, chairs do not move on their own. They only they move only when someone moves them. So that we all know. So non-living thing cannot move by their own. They need some living thing or some kind of someone to move move them from one place to another. Moving on. So the next topic we have is living things need food. Living things need food to grow. Food gives us energy to work and move. So uh, living things is divided into two. Okay, animal and plants. So how animals move? Sorry, animals need food. Animals eat plant and fresh of another animal as food, but for plant do not need go in search of food. They make their own food in the presence of air, water and light. So the process of making food by a plant is called a photosynthesis, which you will learn in the higher classes. But for now you have to understand this one here is the plant eats both plant as sorry the animal eats both plant and animal, but plant need food from the sunlight, from the soil and the air. So these are the three things which plant need to make their own food, and they make their own food so that they do not go for in search of food. Moving on. So the next topic we have is living things feel changes. We can feel changes around us such as hot and cold weather, In the same way, animals and plant can also feel changes around them. So how does the animal feel changes around them is animal feel or sense changes around them with the help of sense organ, which is eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin. Okay, these are some of the senses, okay, that human beings have, and even in some of the animals have. But animals such as ant, cockroaches, grasshopper, butterfly have a special body part called antenna that help them to feel changes around them. So it basically works as a senses for them, for ant, cockroaches and grasshopper, butterfly like this, who's got antenna on their head, which helps them to feel changes around them. Then we have plants. Plants also feel changes around them. For example, mimosa, touch me not plant, feel the touch. Okay, when you go for go in near to that flower, okay, and try to touch that flower, the flower automatically closes it. So, and there is also a lotus flower opens when the sun rises and closes at night. So there is also flower called lotus which opens in morning and closes at night. Plants can also feel light and grow towards it. Non-living things do not feel changes. So for the next moving on, so the next topic we have is living things reproduce. The process by which living things produce more or more of their own kind is called reproduction. So the process of giving birth to their young ones is called reproduction. So we have different reproduction system, reproduction method. Okay, first the animal reproduce by they either laying eggs or giving birth to their young ones. Okay, well, a woman gives birth to a baby, whereas a pigeon and a hen lays egg from with which chicks came out. So there are two ways of giving birth. Either they will give birth directly, or some of the animal lay eggs from which the chicks came out of, and it became their uh, process of giving birth. Okay, and then we have next plant. Plant reproduce with the help of seed. Okay, these seed grow into new plants. Some plants like carrot, money plant and potato also give rise to the new plant with the help of their root, stem or leaves. So in plants we have, they give either they reproduce with the help of seed. Okay, and the new seed is called new. From that new seed, a new plant is new the new plant has is grown. Then but there are other plants like carrot, money plant, potato also give rise to a new plant with the help of their root, stems or leaves. Moving on, so the next we have here is let's remember questions. Circle the odd one out in each of the following. So we have to circle any odd one. So first we have cat, dog, leg and fin. Fin is the odd one here. We have to circle that down. Then we have book, plant, chair and table. Plant is a living thing among these, so it is the odd one. We have to circle that thing. Then we have cockroach, butterfly, mosquito and stomata. So we have to circle the stomata because it is the tiny hole in the plant which helps them to breathe. Okay, breathe in air. Then we have air, water, antenna and light. So among these, antenna is the odd one here. So moving on with next question. Write T for true and F for false statement. So the first question is, mimosa plants opens at sunrise and close at night, which is a false statement, because mimosa is not that plant that opens at sunrise and close at night. It is a lotus. Okay. Then we have question 2. Most plants reproduce with the help of eggs, which is also not true, which is a false statement. Then we have non-living things move from one place to another, which is a false statement as well. Moving on. So the next question we have is, differentiate between living and non-living things. So differentiate are summarized in table below. As you can see, living things can move on their own and non-living things cannot move on their own. Then we have living things grow with time, but non-living things do not grow with time. Then living things need air to breathe, but non-living things do not breathe. Okay. The living things need fruit to grow, non-living things do not need fruit to grow. And the living thing feel changes around them, but non-living things do not feel changes around them. Then we have living things reproduce, non-living things do not reproduce. Some examples of living things are human being, plant, animal are some of the living thing examples. Then for non-living thing we have examples like book, pencil, bat, okay, and many more. So with this we have finished our chapter here. Okay, we're gonna do our exercises in the next class. Thank you.